Hey, what's up, you guys, and welcome back to Model Behavior. It's Macy. I am so excited to be recording again. I'm going to see if I even remember how to do this. I hope you all have been having a fantastic summer. I got back from Montana a couple weeks ago and kind of just took the last couple of weeks to reset and get ready for the school year. School starts on Monday, and you definitely can tell because Fort Collins has been so busy. The traffic has been absolutely insane, you guys. I had a great summer. I had a great time up in Montana. If you remember, I go up and teach a alpine ecology field course in Montana for a month during the summers. I'm up in Glacier National Park and at a field station along Flathead Lake. So I teach that class up in Montana, and it's always really fun, but it's always it's so chaotic because just think about it. If you take 14 college students backpacking in the wilderness with varying levels of experience, you always are going to run into some things. Thankfully, we didn't run into any grizzlies this year. And everybody made it home in one piece, and it was great. I got to spend some time at home. I got to fly fish with my mom. Yeah, it was a really good, relaxing time. But yeah, my summer has been great. It's kind of over on Monday with all the students being back, but we still have a couple months of really good weather here, so I'm looking forward to it. Fall in Colorado is absolutely the best time ever. Yeah, really nothing can beat it, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited for football to be back. I'm excited for all my friends to be back in town and for us to do some things together, and it's just going to be really fun. Okay, so when I was having my reclusive mountain woman summer, I was really thinking about a data point that I didn't talk about too much in my dating spreadsheet episode. So for those of you that didn't listen to that episode, in 2024, I collected a series of data points on every single date that I went on. And the reason for that was to try to identify patterns in my own behavior or in the selection of the guys that I was choosing to go on dates with. And so I was really trying to see if there were things that I could change about my behavior or my selection that would help me find a meaningful relationship and kind of expedite the process of having to kiss a bunch of frogs before I found the prince. Okay. So that's why I did that. And I talked about a lot of things in that episode. So if you want to go back and listen to it, I really enjoyed recording that. And I really enjoyed a lot of the feedback that I got from you all about that and just some of the conversations that happened. But if you want to hear more about that, you can definitely go back and listen to that episode. But there's one thing that I didn't talk about in that episode that I want to address now. And it's the metric of, did we kiss? Okay, so there are 2 data points I collected on that. I said, did we kiss? Yes or no, as well as a rating for the kiss. And the reason why I didn't talk about it in my initial episode was because I wanted to save it for its own standalone episode, particularly about kissing on the first date. So today we will be talking about should you or should you not kiss on a first date? And we are going to get into the science of it, okay? I'm going to talk about the conclusions I made from my own study, and I'm also going to compare it to things that other scientists have found as far as how kissing on a first date affects attraction, affects the overall success of the relationship, and some of the psychology behind what kissing on a first date does. So let's get into what I found. There are 2 schools of thought on this. People say, oh, you should never kiss on a first date because it clouds your judgment, which is partially true. Or some people say you should kiss someone if you're unsure about them because then you can see what kind of chemistry you have. And that is also true. And so I want to put out a disclaimer that the results that I'm sharing today are very personalized to me, obviously. And just because kissing works a certain way for me doesn't mean that it's going to be the same for you. You have different things that you're comfortable with, different things that you're looking for. So my goal with all of these dates is to find a boyfriend. And I know that sounds a little bit okay, girl, calm down. But it really is I want a relationship. I'm not a hookup girl. I'm not a casual dating girl. I literally never have been. Even ever since I started dating in high school, even though I wasn't allowed to, I've never been a casual dater. And that's just because I feel emotions really deeply. I process them really deeply. And ultimately what attracts me to you is that mental connection and that emotional connection. And physical connection really only can get you so far. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about that today. Let's go back to my notes. All right. So here's some patterns that I notice about my first kisses. Number 1, kissing correlates with higher attraction and overall scores. So every date where I kissed on the first date had high attraction ratings and strong overall scores. Okay. Now you might be thinking, okay, this is kind of like a chicken or the egg situation. Like maybe you kissed him because you were attracted to him. You didn't kiss him and then become attracted to him. And for me, I think that it could go both ways. So I want to acknowledge that this is not a total cause and effect scenario, but I am coming at this from the perspective of like, okay, we kissed and then how was I attracted to him after we kissed? Okay. So all of this suggests that kissing amplifies the sense of chemistry, which can overshadow other flaws. So number one, if you do choose to kiss on a first date, be aware that it could cause you to overlook other things. Okay. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. Number two, no kiss dates often led to lower attraction regardless of the guy's conversation or personality. So I had one guy who scored super well in etiquette, personality, and conversation. Yeah, so he scored really well, but I didn't kiss him, and it was just a low attraction score overall, so I ended up not seeing him again. There were two guys that I had really good conversation with, and I said I would see them again, but I felt uncertain about it. And thinking back to these two guys, I really believe that if I had kissed them on the first or the second date, that I would have continued to see them instead of just ending things. And so obviously that's just like my opinion of it. But yeah, so I would say that a kiss is kind of a tiebreaker for me. So without it, attraction doesn't climb high enough to outweigh other positives. Okay, number three. Bad or awkward kisses can tank an otherwise good connection. So with one guy, I liked him and I thought he was so nice, but it was like our third or fourth date, we kissed and it was not good. It was not a good kiss. So, and after we kissed, I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. So it can be a really good litmus test to say, okay, do I even have any chemistry with this guy? I don't know. So my spreadsheet, though, does show that I'm not just tracking chemistry. The quality of the kiss is one of the heaviest weighted variables in my attraction formula. When it comes to kissing, it is one of the highest weighted variables. So if you're a good kisser, I'm more likely to see you again. Also, if I do kiss you, I'm more likely to see you again. So I think I want you to take a second and I want you to think about the dates that you've kissed on. It doesn't have to be first dates. And think about how that influenced the outcome of you dating this guy. Just think carefully about it. Think analytically about it. Okay, fourth point. So kissing early may cause me to overlook red flags. Kissing early may cause you to overlook red flags. For example, there was one guy that scored perfect in almost every category after we kissed, but I did later note that the strong physical chemistry might have blinded me to whether we actually aligned long term. And I'm like, I think that this is kind of like, duh, yeah, but it's just kind of interesting seeing it like on paper written down in numbers. The conclusion that I came up with from that last point was that the kiss can kind of create a halo effect where attraction overshadows mismatched lifestyles, values, or long-term potential. And this one's tough because when I was younger, I was a very ambitious girl. Okay. I was like, I'm going to go get my PhD and I'm going to become a college professor. And then I went and I did that. But I was always thinking long-term potential. And so like pretty much all of college until like my junior year when I like randomly got a boyfriend and he randomly broke my heart. Which we could talk about that sometime. I'm kind of going to be outing myself, but it's relatable. I found out that he was talking to his ex, but anyways, we could save that for later. I didn't really date like at all in college, barely. And so it was just like one of those things where I kind of just had to start saying yes to more things because I realized after my breakup with my first boyfriend, I was like, I'm really not going to meet anybody unless I just start saying yes to people, even if we aren't completely aligned in every aspect. So yeah, but I will say that having things in common is very important in a relationship, and long-term potential is obviously very important, but I've kind of come to the realization in my life that I'm not going to ever find someone who I'm completely aligned with as far as like things we like to do, our background, that kind of thing. So just finding someone who's like willing to work with you on that and be compromising. Because I find that women tend to be, just from talking to my friends, women are a lot more compromising than men are in relationships, almost always. And that's like my nightmare, is like to wake up 10 years from now, maybe more, I hope not more, and just have like a husband and a family and realize that I've given up like everything of who I was 10 years prior just to have this family, and let him pursue his goals. And it's 2025, girl. We're not doing that. Anyways. So yeah. So I'll review my 4 points. Number 1, kissing correlates with higher attraction and overall scores. Number 2, no kiss dates often lead to lower attraction regardless of conversation and personality. Number 3, bad or awkward kisses can tank an otherwise good connection. Number 4, kissing early may cause you to overlook red flags. So, as I stated, there are 2 schools of thought on kissing, particularly on a first date. And one is that it can cause you to overlook red flags because you like the attraction or chemistry if it's a good kiss. And 2, it can be a good litmus test to even see if there's chemistry there. And just thinking back, not just in 2024, but even previous to that, I think that is very true for me. So I wanted to compare some of my data to what the experts say. Okay, so I have a few points here of things that I found. I found a really interesting article from the New Yorker. It's called Ask an Academic Valentine's Edition, The Kiss. So they did a bunch of interviews on first kisses and then had like a social psychologist analyze all the data. This is mostly from that, but there are a couple other sources here. So number 1, first kisses have real biological power. So kissing stimulates brain reward centers, releasing dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. Yeah, we know that. So biologically, a kiss serves as a mate selection tool. So it lets us subconsciously assess genetic and health compatibility via taste, scent, and other cues. That is such a real thing. I think it's so fascinating, like all of the biological things that happen when you kiss somebody. Like, it's not just mental. Like, you think, because I'm the type of person that I'm like, I can like logic my way out of this. Like, I can reason my way out of anything, like feeling anything. I can just think my way out of it. And like, obviously that's not true. And it's kind of comforting to know like, okay, yeah, we have all these biological systems that like subconsciously influence whether or not we want to see a person again. And a lot of that, especially when it comes to kissing, is biological. Okay. So research indicates that rating your partner as a good kisser correlates with higher sexual frequency and relationship satisfaction. So like chemistry is important. Chemistry matters. That being said, like if a guy is not the best kisser in the world, you could teach him. I know that sounds so, I don't want to be like gross about it, but if it's a really bad kiss, like don't try. I've tried that. No, don't try it. Okay. But if like you think there's potential there, which again, we'll talk about at the end of this, then you could try to teach him. Okay, number 2, idealizing the first kiss shapes relationship perception. Okay, it's time to talk about this now. So people who hold romantic idealized beliefs about the first kiss, like thinking it should be magical, are more likely to feel romantic love afterwards. So we've talked about this before on here, but there's this thing out there called box theory, which is when you go on a first date with a guy, the guy will put you in one of 3 boxes. Either he won't want to date you, he wants to date you like as a girlfriend, or he just wants to hook up with you. And the issue that a lot of women run into is that they get put in the hookup box and they keep trying to like jump over to the relationship box, and you can't do that. Like you can't switch. Once a guy like puts you in a category, like you're stuck in that category. And obviously there's like very few, actually, after I talked about that in one of my podcast episodes, I had 2 people reach out and say like, oh, I know somebody who they were hooking up for years and then they like started dating, and like good for them. That's great. But for me personally, I do not want that kind of relationship. Like I want you to be sure about me. I don't want you to be like, I guess I'll go back to her since she's here. Like, no, I've never stuck around long enough for that to happen. So miss me with that. But anyways, based on this point, of idealizing first kisses and idealizing men, I want to talk about the female box theory. Okay. So first kisses matter. And I think like with women, our type of box theory is that we put a guy in the relationship box early on without him doing anything to earn it. So like on paper, and this is why dating apps can be tough. I think that's why dating apps can lead to more disappointment, is because you're basically putting a resume out on paper of all of these things. And there's so many intrinsic factors that you can't look at, or like even just through texting or even FaceTiming, you really can't pick up on. And so that's why face-to-face time is so important. And I think when we spend long periods of time talking to someone, maybe over text or FaceTime or over an app, we inadvertently participate in the female box theory, which is where we put these men into these boxes that they don't deserve to be in. Because on paper, we're like, oh, we have so much in common. Oh, we would look so cute together. Our kids would be so cute. Oh my gosh, like I don't know, he does this for a living, he's so hot, like blah blah blah. And like then you go on a few dates with him, and maybe the chemistry or the conversation really isn't there, but you've idealized them so much in your mind that you have already made up your mind that nothing this guy can do will change your mind about the fact that he is boyfriend material. So women put these men in two boxes: boyfriend material or not boyfriend material. We are always putting men in the boyfriend material box that don't deserve to be there. And so just think about that. Yeah, so people who hold these romantic idealized beliefs about the first kiss are more likely to feel romantic love afterwards, but these ideals can also create unrealistic expectations, leading to disappointment if the relationship doesn't live up to that spark. So women, okay. Point number 3, first kisses matter, especially to women, but in different cultures, it matters individually. Okay. So studies show that 58% of women and 59% of men have ended budding relationships because of a bad first kiss. Guilty. I have done that. I have done that multiple times, and I have no regrets. Okay. Women often view kissing as a more meaningful sign of connection, while men might see it more as a step towards sex. Yeah. So just be aware of that. Okay. So kissing or not is personal, cultural, and contextual. So I want to talk about this point because I think it's really important. So in the US, just over half of first dates end in a kiss, but these cultural norms vary worldwide. So that's just a US thing. And definitely in other countries, it's more conservative. You're not going to get that as much. But I thought it was interesting that just over half of first dates end in a kiss in the US. Not kissing on the first date doesn't automatically mean something's wrong. Many relationships start with no kiss, focusing instead on comfort and mutual pacing. So I think that whether or not you should kiss on a first date is very much up to you. Okay. So from a different article that I found that a kiss can make or break a date. So if chemistry is off, it can cement disinterest. If it's good, it strengthens the connection and lowers stress. So kissing can amplify your feelings about the person. Kissing alone is not going to change the way you feel about someone, according to this data. So I think that's interesting. That was an interesting takeaway. So if chemistry is off, you can be yeah, actually, I'm definitely not feeling it, and you can know for sure. But if it's good and you already were feeling attracted to that person, then yeah, it just amplifies those feelings of attraction. So I would say that we as women need to stop kissing men because they go for it or they expect it. That is a main issue. Don't do it because you feel like you have to. Please don't. Oh my gosh, please don't. Yikes. So I kind of want to compare my data versus the research. So my spreadsheet showed a clear pattern. So when we did kiss, attraction and overall score spiked, even sometimes overshadowing compatibility concerns. And the research backs that a good kiss can trigger emotional bonding and deepen attraction biologically and psychologically. So at the same time, idealizing the kiss can create high expectations that the guy might not be able to meet. So don't do the box theory. Don't do the female box theory of putting these men in the boyfriend box when they haven't done anything to earn it. Stop it. Stop daydreaming. I know I'm the biggest daydreamer, but stop daydreaming about these men. As you've probably heard, a crush is just a lack of information. Once you get to know him better, you might change your mind. So based on all of that, is kissing on a first date good or bad? I put together a list. And so this is just what I think, okay? So when a first date kiss can benefit you, when you feel genuine chemistry and comfort, when you want to gauge attraction quickly, or when you enjoy the emotional boost it provides. So if you're feeling it, just go for it, okay? Yeah, I think that in any of those scenarios, a first date kiss can be really good. When a first date kiss can backfire or feel off, this is important to note, if the timing feels rushed or forced. So these kisses need to happen on your timeline, ultimately. Obviously, the guy participates in that, but I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, the guy is down to do it. If you're down, it's just what you're comfortable with. So remember that this is your pace. It's going at the pace that you feel comfortable with and where you feel safe. Another time when it can backfire is if you're planning on exploring deeper emotional compatibility first. So if you're the type of person that tends to jump into things physically with guys really, really fast, I would highly caution you against kissing on the first date, just because you need to know how you feel about a person when you're not doing that, because knowing what the data shows that a kiss on a first date can really amplify your feelings or shadow your judgment about the guy that you're kissing. It's really important to, if you know that you do that a lot, just try not doing that and see how it affects the way you feel about a guy. Spoiler alert, you're probably putting them in the boyfriend box too soon. The third point, kissing on a first date can mask mismatches that you'll need to address later. So not obviously, but I'm in the camp of like, you really don't have to know after a first date, like if there's long-term potential or not. That's not really the point of a first date, in my opinion. The subsequent dates are kind of more for talking about future and like what you're looking for and all of that. You don't have to go there on a first date. First dates are supposed to be fun. You're nervous, he's nervous, like whatever. So as far as long-term compatibility goes, just know that if you do kiss him on a first date, there could be some mismatches in the future that you'll need to address, and you need to be willing to address it. With female box theory, I hate the word female. I don't want to be like females. With girl box theory. The whole goal of addressing girl box theory is that you need to be willing to take a man out of the boyfriend box and put him into the date box, the casual date box. Okay. So just know that that's something you're going to have to do in the future. Okay. And then the last point I have of when a first kiss can backfire or feel off is if your date wasn't into it physically yet. So like if your date didn't want to kiss, don't like push it. Okay. I think women, this is a huge generalization, but I think it's very true. Women are a lot better at picking up on those social cues and those vibes of like, will the guy want to kiss me or not? Like you can tell pretty quickly, like our intuition is pretty spot on with that. I've been on a few dates where the guy, I've not wanted to kiss him. I have not given any indication that I wanted to kiss him in any way, shape, or form. And he's still gone for it. And I've had to reject him. But I'm also like, how are you going to learn? If I don't say, hey, no, and also I don't want to kiss you. So yeah, so those are a few points of like when a date, I'm getting these words mixed up in my mind. When a kiss on a first date could be bad. So just be aware of that. So in summary, kiss wisely, but don't worry about it, okay? So science says a good kiss signals attraction and emotional readiness, but it also can kind of act like a drug. No surprise there. And that my data does confirm that. So kissing inflates heat and attraction faster than conversation alone. So like for me, I gotta be like, okay, girl, maybe hold your horses on that and just really see. That being said, like if you're feeling it, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like have fun. It's supposed to be fun. All right. And also just as a caution, chemistry doesn't always mean compatibility. Just be aware of that. Is he in the date box or is he in the boyfriend box? And I say the date box because I don't really have, obviously, since I don't hook up like that, I don't have a hookup box. But I do have like a section in my mind of guys where I put guys that I've been on dates with where I'm like, yeah, there's no long-term compatibility here. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the date, but I just could see it not working out. And that's my date box. And then my boyfriend box is empty. But like that's where you would put guys where you think there's long-term potential. And then the whole point of girl box theory is that then you can move the guy from the boyfriend box back to the date box once you learn new information that makes you rethink things. Okay. And be willing to do that. Okay. Don't just be like, oh, I've decided ahead of time that we're going to fall in love and like move to the Hamptons and have this wonderful future together. Like you really need to allow your emotions to be plastic. Like you need to allow them to change based on the new information that's presented to you. Don't get obsessed with the guy that doesn't deserve it. Girl, no. Anyways, the key takeaway from this episode is that you need to use the first kiss as a moment of assessment, not as the only sign that something's spark worthy. If I were to go back and map all of my dates using these same data points, I need to not weigh a kiss so heavily in my overall attraction score. Yes, a kiss can indicate that I'm attracted to you, but that can't be the like overwhelm everything else. So I need to weigh it less heavily. Yeah. So maybe I'm overweighting kissing as my main spark test. That's what I've learned from this. But at the same time, my numbers show that it is a huge predictor of how attracted I'll feel to the guy and if I'm likely to see him again or not. So yeah, just be aware of that. I think it's so fun. Dating is supposed to be fun. A first kiss on a date. Oh, I can't say this. A kiss on a first date can be really, really fun if everything's lining up, you feel safe, you need to be confident in your ability to say no. So just know that like a guy might expect more if you kiss him, because obviously it's a first date, so you don't know his character yet. You can't be like, oh no, he wouldn't do that, he's a good guy. Girl, you don't know him. Yes, you've been texting for several months. That doesn't mean anything. You don't know him like that, okay? So just be aware that if you do kiss on a first date, you need to be very comfortable with asserting your boundaries and being like, hey, like this is all I want to do. And same with if you don't want to kiss on a first date, just like the easiest way to go about that, I would say, is just like letting him know ahead of time, like maybe while you're walking back to the car, like make a cute little joke about it. Because yeah, then the guy won't try it. He won't feel that rejection. And then he'll also know whether or not you want to see him again. So yeah, just be upfront about that. But that's kind of fun. That being said, like have a flirty girl fall, okay? That's what I am calling this fall, because I always have my reclusive mountain woman summers. I'm so ready for a flirty girl fall. I am so ready. My challenge to you is to just really go back and think about how kissing a guy influences the way that you feel about him. Obviously, you're attracted to him if you're kissing him and you like it, but really be cautious to not put him in the boyfriend box too soon. Be really analytical about it and think like, okay, should I give it more time? And if you're not sure about how a kiss affects the outcome of a date or how you feel about him, maybe collect some data, go on a couple dates where you don't kiss him on the first date and see how that makes you feel. And just really kind of test it out in real life. And if you feel comfortable, I would love to know your results if you do this study, quote unquote, and look at kissing on a first date and how it influences the outcome of the relationship. Or if you just have some anecdotes to share, please let me know. You can DM me on Instagram or on TikTok. My TikTok DMs are kind of like messed up still. Like I have a lot of them I haven't gone through. So Instagram is better. Just shoot me an Instagram DM and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope that you're enjoying summer, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye.